Hello. Hello, good morning and welcome to our webinar series, Using Tech to Solve SME Accounting Problems. Our topic for today is cloud accounting, how cloud accounting is helping to solve accounting problems of SMEs in Ghana, the case of Xero. The objective of this webinar is to highlight the benefits of cloud accounting and how it's helping to solve some of the accounting problems of SMEs in Ghana. So with me to lead the discussion is Ellen. Before we go on to ask Ellen to introduce herself, kindly note that your mic are muted to prevent feedbacks. And if you have any question as the session goes on, kindly put them in the Q&A box below your screen, and all questions will be attended to at the end of the session. So I would like Ellen to introduce herself. Ellen is the manager of the client accounting unit of SCG Chartered Accountants, and she's here with me to lead the discussion. Ellen, you are welcome.
Thanks very much, Amos.
Kindly introduce yourself.
I'm pleased to be here this morning to present on this topic. I'm Ellen Osani Makon. I've worked with SCG for about 4.5 years as an outsourced accountant for SMEs and subsidiaries of multinational firms. So my work as an outsourced accountant involves migrating client information into Xero, training clients and colleagues on how to use Xero, setting up add-ons relevant to the client's business, helping clients organize data, set up procedures and controls over the accounting information, ensuring accounting information is compliant with IFRS for SMEs, and analyzing financial information. So in summary, that's what my work entails.
Thank you for the introduction. So having dealt with clients in the SME space, what would you say are some of the challenges that these SMEs face in Ghana as far as accounting is concerned?
Okay, SMEs face many challenges, and amongst them are records keeping and missing documents.
14. Frank, it's okay, 14.
SMEs usually have difficulty in organizing and filing data. Data here means the bank statements, invoices, bills, payroll information needed for complete accounting. Often, supporting documents serving as evidence of transactions cannot be found. They are misfiled or they are faded. There are no processes to capture accounting information accurately. Accounting is dependent on processes such as purchase, invoicing to ensure controls are effective and accounting information is accurate. There's low quality of accounting information resulting from lack of processes, incomplete records, inaccurate coding of transactions by accountants with limited technical expertise. Financial information is mostly not up to date with significant backlogs. So all these makes the accounting information not relevant for decision making. SMEs also face compliance issues, inaccurate, unfiled, late filings of withholding, VAT, levies, PAYE, income taxes, leading to penalties and interest costs imposed by GRA. Again, SMEs face cash flow challenges. There are delays in invoicing, late receipt of payments, and inability to manage overdue bills and invoices. There are software issues. Accounting is done in Excel, a desktop software, or where it's done in a cloud software is not set up properly. You must upgrade to the latest version or else you are at risk. And the desktop software can only be accessed on one device, mostly computers, and on-premise or designated location. There's significant upfront costs in relation to the desktop software. So desktop accounting information system requires infrastructure such as laptops, software license, client servers, backups, etc. These are often significant costs incurred at business inception. Again, there's no visibility. So managers, business owners do not have access to the financial information and can't see what's going on with the accounts. They always rely on the accountants. So these are some of the challenges that SMEs face in Ghana.
Right. So these are enormous challenges, and then so aside capital and other issues, these are also problems that they face. So how does cloud accounting, such as Xero, help, to address some of these challenges?
So with cloud accounting as a solution, we'll focus on Xero cloud accounting software. So what then is Xero? So Xero is an online business and accounting software that enables small businesses to work in real time with everybody involved in their business, including the accountant or bookkeeper. Xero is designed for a lay person, a non-accountant, with support from accountants. As a source accountant, Xero enables us to work with in-house accountants and managers of our clients who are residents in this country or other countries. So data is submitted to us via receipt bank, processed, reports are published in Xero, and are assessed for decision making. So what then is the Xero solution? So Xero helps establish basic accounting processes. So in solving issue of non-availability of processes to capture information accurately, Xero helps establish basic accounting processes. It has inbuilt sales, purchase, inventory and fixed assets process with segregation of duties. So for example, someone creates an invoice, saves as draft, the manager then reviews and approves. This enhances completeness and accuracy of accounting information. Xero helps improve cash flow. The cash flow challenges of delays in invoicing, late receipt of payment, and inability to manage overdue bills and invoices are resolved with Xero cash flow forecast, an ability to send invoices directly from the software. With the cash flow forecast, you're able to see how much money you expect to receive and review what you owe to your suppliers and determine if additional finance is needed at every point in time. Xero insists on due dates when raising invoices. So due dates are very important as it gives an indication on when to expect payment to aid in cash flow forecast. Again, you can set up automatic reminders and get paid faster. Whereas with the desktop softwares, it can only be accessed on one device and at a specific location. With Xero, business owners can access their business information from anywhere and on mobile devices. They have access to support on setup, education, and training. Again, to stay in control of your finances, there's a need for quality information. Xero makes it possible for transactions to be processed immediately they occur. Xero offers the flexibility of entering customer invoices, supplier bills directly into the software as it occurs, and you get up-to-date information on the financial performance and position with ease. You are able to file your returns accurately and avoid any penalties that might accrue. Again, unlike the desktop software, where only one user can access at a time, Xero enables multiple users to access and collaborate same time. So Xero makes it possible for managers, in-house accountants, users without accounting knowledge to work with outsourced accountants to organize data, improve processes, and share technical expertise, improving the quality of accounting information. In terms of service, upgrades, backup, etc., there's no upfront cost when you are using Xero. You only incur monthly subscription. So with Xero, you can start with a lower plan and upgrade to higher plans as the business grows. Updates also occurs whilst you sleep or you take a nap. So Xero again helps improve efficiency and save time. You can send invoices, quotations, add receipts, approve expenses, and reconcile from your phone. You can save templates and copy similar tasks so you don't have to create new ones each time. You can easily access reports without printing them. With add-ons such as Receipt Bank, you can take pictures right from source. Receipt Bank extracts key details from the invoice, reducing manual entry and saves time. It keeps copies of the documents, resolving the issues of missing documents we talked earlier on. The documents are attached to the transaction, hence easy to locate and trace. With Xero, depending on the industry, there are relevant add-ons that are available for the other business functions. Xero again helps keep your information safe. Your financial and customer data is protected with multiple layers of security. Xero uses two-step authentication, which adds another layer of protection to your account. So you log in with your password and codes from Google Authenticator. You can control the level of access your staff have. Access level could be read-only, invoice-only, standard, or advisor level. Everything is backed up automatically and safely stored in the cloud. Again, Xero provides you with data to be analyzed. So you can analyze your financial performance of your business using either the profitability, liquidity, or the gearing ratios. Again, with analytics software which are integrated with Xero, data analytics can be performed to identify patterns and establish relationships, such as associations, sequences, and correlations. So analytics often lead to better marketing, better customer service and relationship management, increased customer loyalty, increased competitive strength, increased operational efficiency, and then new sources of revenue can also be realized. So Amos, this is the Xero solution.
Thank you, Ellen, for the in-depth explanation of the benefits of Xero. So you mentioned Receipt Bank, as part of the in the process, helping streamline processes.
Yes.
So what is Receipt Bank and what does it do to support Xero?
So Receipt Bank is an add-on to Xero. It helps you to capture transactions immediately they occur with your phone. Then it extracts the details on the receipt. So the date, the narration, the customer details. Then when Receipt Bank is integrated into Xero, you can publish the transaction from Receipt Bank into Xero. So a copy of the document is attached. So there's no need to now manually enter the details on the invoice or the bill in Xero again.
Okay.
Yes, so it saves you more time. And then a copy of the document is also attached to the transaction.
Okay. So Ellen, you will take us through the demonstration to see how Xero works, so that participants will also appreciate the interface and how Xero works. But before that, do you have clients that you've been able to deliver accounting services to through this medium of cloud accounting using Xero?
Yes. So we have local clients here who are in-house accountants. We work with the in-house accountants. Normally, they enter the transactions or capture it with Receipt Bank as and when it occurs. Then we do the review from the office with the analysis of the financial information. And then we have business discussions with them. We also have other local clients with no in-house accountants. So then we serve at the back office or the accounting people for these kind of clients. And then we also have the foreign clients whose management are mostly not resident in Ghana. So for them to be served as the back office or the accountant for these clients and doing the accounting work and then their statutory filings, as well as analyzing financial information and then having business discussions.
Okay, so it means that irrespective of where you are located, as far as you have access to Xero through the internet, you are able to manage your finances even in Ghana, even though you may not be physically present in Ghana.
Exactly.
Great. So let me remind participants that it looks like we are not able to pick questions on the Q&A box. So you can post your questions through the chat box as well, and then we'll pick them and address them as we go along. So Ellen, now let's do some demonstration. Can you walk us through the demonstration of how Xero works?
Okay. So we'll have a quick demonstration on how Xero works. Anytime you log in, you'll be taken to the dashboard after you've logged in with your email password and then the codes from the Google Authenticator. You'll be taken to the dashboard as you can see on my screen. So the managers and business owners can see how the business is always performing at a quick glance. When the transactions are processed, immediately they occur. It's very important for the transactions to be processed, immediately they occur. So the dashboard puts the most relevant information where you need it. So you can always review trends to stay on top of the cash flow with the inflows and outflows. So you can see the cash in, the cash out for every month. The dashboard again also displays the income and expense account you want to monitor. So these will show under the account watch list. I've been logged out, so I'll log in again. These are some of the security measures. After some few minutes of inactiveness, Xero logs you out, so you have to log in again. So under the account watch list, any accounts that you want to monitor, you can do the setup such that they will appear here. So you'll be able to see the expenses or the revenue in relation to any of these accounts. Xero is designed for non-accountants. So it's very simple and it uses simple technology such as invoices owed to you, bills you need to pay, spend money, and then receive money. So you can see invoices owed to you, and then bills you need to pay. So invoices owed to you is what the accountant will normally call the receivables, and then the bills you need to pay, which are your payables. So instead of using receivables and payables, invoices owed to you, and then bills you need to pay. So you can always hover to see how much money you expect to receive and review what you owe to your suppliers. So you can see all the invoices which are owed, what you expect to receive this week, and any bills that you need to pay, bills which are overdue that you need to pay, right from the dashboard.
So in effect, the dashboard is a summary of the key activities that you need to see as far as your finances are concerned.
Yes.
Okay. So from your bank statement to how much you owe people and how much people owe you.
Yes.
So you are able to plan properly.
Yes.
Okay.
So let me stress again, it's very important for the transactions to be processed immediately they occur so that you will have relevant information. Because when you delay, then you will not be able to make business decisions using the dashboard. So I'm going to take you through some few tabs in Xero, and then we'll go through some of the functions within the tab. So we'll start with the business tab. So under the business tab, you're able to go through the invoicing and the purchasing processes that ensures accuracy of accounting information. So under the business tab, we are going to go through the sales process, which begins with quotation, and then invoicing, and then we also go through the purchase procedures, which begins with the purchase orders and then the bills. Then we move on to the accounting tab and go through some few accounting reports. So then let's start with the quotation. So the sales process usually starts with sending client quotations. So when it's accepted, then you convert it into an invoice. So we are going to create a new quotation upon a request received from a potential customer. So this is our new quote tab. From the business tab, quotes, new quotes, then you select the customer. So remember, you have to set up the customer information under the contact tab. So under the contact tab, you can set the customer or the supplier information under that tab. Then you can easily select that customer when you have set it up in the system already. So let's say our potential customer is, let's say, SCG audits. The quote will expire, let's say, in 15 days. The quote number is pre-populated based on the setup. So we'll enter the reference. Let's say our reference is, we are the demo company, so let's say D001. Then we'll enter the narration. So let's say accounting service. The quantity will be 1. We have the unit price of 100. The accounts, select our sales account. And then our tax rate. So let's assume this is our tax rate. You can enter the terms within this box. So let's say valid for 15 days upon receipt. So when you are done, you review everything and then you can save the quotes. You can save the quotes and then send it. So let's save our quotes. So you can send the quotes directly from Xero to the customer. So let's come back to our quotes again. And then this time around, we'll click on send. So I'm going to send this quote to Amos. So Xero has pre-populated message. You can review all these messages. And then if you're okay with it, you can check this.
So I'm becoming a customer of
yes,
SCG.
Amos is becoming a customer. So you can check to send a copy of the quote to yourself. Then you can click on send. So Amos will receive this quotation directly in his mail. So assuming the quotes that I've sent to Amos is okay, and then he has accepted it, then we'll send the quotes. If the quote has been accepted and then we've rendered the service, we'll turn the quote into an invoice. We'll turn the quote into an invoice. So let's go back to our quotes. We have our sent quotations here. So this accounting service has been rendered and then it's been accepted. So we are now about to invoice our customer. So let's copy, mark it as accepted, sorry. And then we create an invoice. So when you mark it as accepted, the system even highlights the need for you to create an invoice out of the code. So you can see the green highlighted button here. So let's create an invoice out of it. So we could see most of the information from the quotes has been populated in the invoice section. As you can see, we are now in the invoice screen. So instead of going to raise a new invoice all over, when you convert the code into an invoice, most of the information is populated. Then you review all the information that you need to do, and then attach, if you do not have the dispensation to issue your own system generated invoices, you have to attach the GRA invoice to it. So,
what do you mean by dispensation?
Okay, so the VAT laws requires an invoice to be issued to a customer, and then the invoice that is recognized or allowed is the GRA's own VAT invoice. It comes in a booklet form. So normally some companies are allowed to issue their own system invoice. So like this invoice from Xero, you can send this invoice to the customers directly instead of issuing this invoice plus the GRA invoice. So that GRA invoice is what is recognized by law. But then some are allowed to issue their own system generated invoice.
Okay.
So if you don't have that dispensation, it means you need to add that GRA invoice to the system invoice that you are generating.
Okay, so in effect, that's the VAT, the VAT invoice,
Yes.
the hard copy that we write on. So in effect, depending on your situation, GRA can authorize you to issue your own system generated invoice,
Exactly.
but they will give you authorization to do that.
Yes.
Okay, so at any point when you are not issuing the hard copy or the GRA VAT invoice, it means that you have to attach the authorization by GRA.
Yes.
To show that you are allowed to give your own system generated.
Yes,
okay.
Exactly. So we are going to attach an invoice, a scanned GRA invoice to this transaction. So this button here allows you to attach documents to the transaction. So you can click on it, upload the documents either from Xero or from your desktop or wherever you have saved the document. So let's upload a file to our invoice. So let's assume this is a scanned file. So you could see it attached here. So the number of attached documents always show here. If you see one, it means it's just only one attachment. If it's two, it means it's two attachments. So you review everything and then you save. So earlier on, I talked about the inbuilt processes in Xero. So we've gone through the quotation. We are now in the invoicing. So when you save the invoice, then the one who is authorized to approve the invoice will go back into the invoice section. It will be showing under drafts. Open the invoice, review all the details together with the attachments before they approve. As you can see, when we created the draft invoice, we didn't enter a due date, so we couldn't even save it. If you try approving it, it will not go through. So you must always enter the due date. So let's say the due date is 15 days, and I am the one who has the authority to approve this invoice. So I approve it. And then you have this pop-up message that the invoice has been approved. So when the invoice too has been approved, the accounting entries are also done automatically. So if you remember, I selected sales account when I was creating the quotation. That same account was populated during the invoicing time. So if the account is not correct, you have to make sure that you make the changes before you approve. So sales is going to be credited, and then receivables are going to be debited. So that is it for the sales process. We are going to go through the purchase process. The purchase process again starts with the purchase order. So we are going to go under the business tab again. This time around, purchase orders. So usually after you've received a quote from your supplier, So this time around, you are the customer. So after you receive a quote from your supplier, you issue a purchase order, which authorizes them to supply to you. So we are then going to create a new PO. So new purchase order. Again, remember to set up the supplier information under the contacts tab so that you can easily select it. So let's say our supplier is MTN. We want it to be delivered in 15 days. The PO number is also pre-populated from setup. Our reference D002. Our description, let's say internet service. Quantity 1. Our unit price, let's say 200. The account is a telephone and internet account. Select our batch rate. If you want to draw the attention of anyone, you put it in there, plus the delivery instructions. Again, you save. Then the manager or supervisor can review again and then approve the PO. So let's approve our PO. So then we can also send the PO again directly from the software to the supplier. So after the PO has been sent and then the services has been rendered or the goods have been delivered, you receive a bill. So when you receive a bill, you can convert the PO, then you convert the PO into a bill. So you mark it as billed, that is if you receive the bill. Then you have the pop-up message, copy PO to a draft bill. So this time around, the bill that you received from the supplier, yes, you attach the bill again to the transaction. Since we copied from the PO, you could see most of the details have been populated already from the PO. Then you enter the due date when the supplier expects to receive their money, so that you can plan your cash flow forecast accordingly. So let's say they expect it in.
So it means that the due dates aspect is very important.
Yes.
In this. Yeah.
Yes. So the due date is very relevant for cash flow forecasting purposes and planning. So let's say 15 days again, that's when the supplier expects to receive payment. Then you save the draft bill. Again, the one with the authority to approve also comes in, reviews all the details which have been entered and then confirms with the attached document and then approves the bill. Again, when the bill is approved, the accounting entries are done automatically. So you would have the telephone and internet expense being debited, which is the expense account, and accounts payable credited, which is the liability account. So these are the processes inbuilt in Xero relevant to sales and then purchases.
And processes are very important, to have a very good and sound accounting system. You must have a very good laid down processes.
Yes.
And Xero gives us that opportunity, to get that discipline of following process. So I can see that when one person raises the bill or the invoice, then it goes to another authorizing, an authorizer too. So there's no one person performing the same activity at the same time. That's
Exactly.
that's very.
So accounting information, if you want an accurate accounting information, you need to ensure you have processes and then controls in those within that process. So we are now going to go through the accounting tab and then go through some few reports under accounting tab. So the reports are grouped under different aspects. So let's look at the report section. So this is the report section. You could see the financial, sales, tax, purchases, accounting, inventory. So under the financial, you go through the financial performance, which is the profit and loss, the financial position, and the statement of cash flows. So let's start with the profit and loss. So with the profit and loss, you're able to see your financial performance at every point in time. So if you are processing your transactions as and when it occurs, you can view your P&L for the month, for the year, for the quarter, month to date, quarter to date, year to date, or customize the period that you want. So let's assume for the month of March, we've entered all our transactions. So this is our revenue. These are our cost of sales. These are our operating expenses. So we made a net profit and a net loss of 382.76. Again, going back to the report section, we want to view our balance sheet, which gives a summary of the total assets and the liabilities, and then the equities of the business. So the same thing, you can still specify the period, the month, whether you want it for the month, for a quarter, or for the financial year. So any of the period or the date range that you select, you make sure you update it. And then you can see your total assets, your bank, and then all other current assets that you have, the current liabilities and the non-current liabilities, your net assets, and then the equity or the book value of the business. Again, let's come back to our reports and view our cash flow statement. So you select the period again, and you're able to view your cash flow from operating, financing, and then investment activities. So select for the period and then update. So we go back to the reports again, and then we go through some free reports under the accounting tab. So the accounting tab, we'll view our trial balance, a summary of all the accounts. So trial balance for, let's say, the month, the quarter. Let's update again. Again, under the accounting tab, you can easily view your bank reconciliation reports. So the bank reconciliation reports can always be extracted from the system. So you update any. The bank reconciliation report is available for you to view. Okay. Going back to the receivables and payables again, so you can always view your age receivable details, the summary, the same thing for the purchases. So I'll quickly take you through the security aspect of Xero, show you some few security, window security in Xero. So we'll go to our settings. Aside the two-step authentication that I talked about, there's what we call the assurance dashboard in Xero. So it gives an audit trail of all the activities that has occurred by any user in the system. So in this particular company, I'm the only user. All the entries that I have done, whether they are relevant to the bank account, the contacts, or invoices and those, any section that I made any entries for, you could always see anything. You can see the details of the person and then when they did that, together with the changes that they made. Again, when you come back to the settings, under the users, you could see all the users in the for the company. I'm the only user in this company. So you can see the last time I logged in, my login history.
So it gives you a trail of
Yes.
events in Xero.
Yes. So you could see all the users when the last time they logged in. If anybody hasn't logged in for a while, you can follow up or maybe take their user access out. So Amos, essentially, this is an overview of how Xero works and how it addresses the SME business and accounting challenges. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ellen, for the demonstration. And I think it's even very important and relevant at this stage of our life where, there's a lockdown and all. So Xero gives us the opportunity to work from every location. It doesn't necessarily need you to come to the office, like using a desktop to come to the office compulsorily to work, but you can access it anywhere and then it will work perfectly for you. Okay, so if you don't have an accountant in-house, can you use Xero to run your accounting?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Okay. All right. So quickly, let's see if we can pick up one or two questions from the participants and address them. Okay. So somebody is asking, can one person input transaction and authorize at the same time?
Yes, so you can input and then authorize at the same time, but we don't normally recommend that because there's a need for segregation of controls. And it also depends on the level that a person has. So there are certain levels like invoice only. If you have invoice only, which allows you to just create draft invoices, you can't approve at the same time. But somebody who has a higher level like standard can create and then approve at the same time. So such people with those kind of access, it's always relevant that there's someone else to also review what the person has done to make sure that the controls are working.
Okay, so somebody wants to know the tax rate. It looks like a default tax rate. Can you change it to suit the Ghana one or
Yes.
Anywhere else?
Yes, you can set up your own tax rate in the system.
Okay.
So with the new rate that we have, where the VAT is calculated on the levies, yes, it cannot be set up in the system.
Okay, so let me go to the Q&A and okay, somebody is asking, Godfrey is asking, can a non-profit making organization also use Xero? So if you are an NGO, can you use Xero for your operations?
Yes, you can use Xero.
Okay. Okay. Somebody also wants to know, does Xero have payroll function?
Yes, Xero has a payroll function, but then it's not built to our Ghana tax laws.
Okay. Okay. So it has a payroll function, yes, but
not relevant to our Ghana tax
it's
laws.
not set up to meet our Ghana tax laws. Okay. Let me go through the questions. Okay, somebody wants to find out, does it come as a cost to the business, as in the business has to purchase the software or pay fees?
Yes, so there's a monthly subscription cost,
okay,
for Xero, but the best part is it comes in ranges or packages. So you don't sign on to the highest package unless probably you get to that level. So for instance, if you don't deal with foreign transactions,
yeah,
there's no need to sign on to the business package.
Okay.
You can sign on to the very minimum package, and then as and when you start incurring any foreign or you start dealing with foreign transactions, then you can upgrade to that package. So there's a monthly subscription cost.
Okay. So I'll take my final question, and then somebody wants to, why a cloud accounting system? What are the benefits to my business? I think those you address those ones. You know that it gives you the flexibility to work from any location. It's the cost involved, the upfront cost involved is quite low. You know, it also offers you high security and also helps you to streamline your processes. You don't necessarily have to be a technical person to especially understand and use Xero. I think you highlighted on those ones. I don't know if you have something to add to that.
Yes, and it helps improve cash flow. And like I said, you can always get your business information at every point in time.
Okay.
Yes, once you are processing the transactions on time. And there are tools to help process the transactions immediately they occur.
Okay, somebody wants to find out. I have to just go back. He said you mentioned that one can use Xero at anywhere. So what happens if one does not have access to internet? Can it be used offline?
No.
I'm sorry, it will not support. You need to have internet connectivity to be able to access it because it's cloud-based. Okay. So Ellen, thank you very much for the for walking us through the Xero experience. And unfortunately, our time is almost up. And forgive me, those whose questions have not been addressed, we will look at them and then address them, you know, via mail or, you know, in our subsequent webinar. We would address those ones. So you can keep following our social media platforms and our website. That's www.scg.com.gh for a lot of information on Xero and other relevant blogs. So let's summarize what you have done. So my understanding is that Xero helps to streamline processes, and then it's also accessible anywhere, and it helps improve cash flow, which is very important for businesses. And then because it sends reminder on due date, and it's not one user at a time. Many people can access it at any point in time, and it's also affordable. Okay, I mean it's relatively affordable, you know, because the upfront cost is, and it uses simple language, so you don't need to be a highly technical accounting person to understand. It uses very simple language that you and I, a layperson, can understand and relate to. So thank you very much. At this point, would like to bring our session to an end, but I would like to also announce to you that subsequently we will be holding webinars to train on Xero and share knowledge and information on Xero. So we are very grateful for you taking part in this webinar, and we hope to see you in our subsequent webinar. Thank you very much for joining us. Yeah, so at the end of the session, feedback form will be sent to you. We kindly request you to take a few minutes of your time and then address those feedback for us. So it's very helpful for us improving our webinars as we go forward. Thank you very much for joining us, and see you at our next webinar.
Thank you.